Godzilla, the king of the monsters, an ancient being awoken by nuclear submarines in World War II, invulnerable to conventional weaponry, tanks, aircrafts, and even atomic bombs. This tough titan has the ability to shoot a powerful heat ray called the atomic breath, with an energy yield of 315 trillion joules. That's the equivalent to the force of an explosion created by 86,807 tons of TNT. Not only this, but Godzilla has a nuclear pulse ability that fires out condensed atomic fire, which was hot enough to melt buildings and completely evaporate his opponent, the alien invader Ghidorah.
These are only two of the abilities we've seen legendary Godzilla perform in the MonsterVerse, but what new abilities could we see the King of the Monsters gain in the upcoming MonsterVerse film, a sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong?
Well, today we're going to look into Godzilla's past and theorize what legendary could bring forward into the upcoming film. I'm Alistair.
And I'm Jacob.
And let's take a look at what Godzilla's new powers could be. Welcome back. Throughout Godzilla's history, there's been countless powers that have come and gone and never really made a reappearance, but we think there's loads that could fit right in with the MonsterVerse. So let's start off with one fan favorite ability that I think should make its grand return. The Red Spiral Ray. This ability was used against Mechagodzilla in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, and then against Destroyer, and finally against Kaiser Ghidorah. It's a supercharged variation of the atomic breath ability, and at double the temperature, it reaches 1 million degrees Celsius. This was powerful enough to obliterate Mechagodzilla in only a few blasts, and completely incinerate Kaiser Ghidorah in Final Wars. We think this ability has gone unused for long enough, and that it should return as a midpoint between Godzilla's atomic breath and nuclear pulse. Of course, Godzilla would need to meet certain requirements, or else he'd just spam it, making him super overpowered. In King of the Monsters, in order to use the nuclear pulse ability, Godzilla first needed to overload on radiation in a short space of time. Being nuked at point-blank range while low on energy caused him to go into a nuclear meltdown. Essentially, Godzilla was overfed. This would have actually killed him had it not been for Mothra, who gave Godzilla a way to ventilate the radiation in the form of his nuclear pulse ability. With something like a Red Spiral Ray, it could perhaps require less extreme measures in order to be activated. Perhaps Godzilla being in an area that's heavily irradiated gives him the boost he needs in order to use the attack. More powerful than his already deadly atomic breath, but less powerful than his nuclear pulse.
I'm gonna scooch in here to throw a suggestion into the ring. I'd like to see his magnetic ability return. Yes, in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, our very own King of the Monsters basically became Magneto. Godzilla and King Caesar were fighting a losing battle against Mechagodzilla. His sheer destructive capability prevented Godzilla from dealing substantial damage to the mechanized giant. That is until the G-Man was struck by lightning. The bombardment supercharged the King of the Monsters and gave him a new magnetic ability. When Mechagodzilla tried to fly away, Godzilla pulled him back with the new power, along with other metal structures in the area, like surrounding pylons. Like a fish, Mechagodzilla was reeled in, and now in Godzilla's grasp, he tears his head off, destroying the mechanized giant where he stood. I think an ability of this caliber would be perfect to showcase this next evolution as the god of all monsters, being able to do something no other monster can. If Mecha King Ghidorah was to make an appearance, built using the scraps of Mechagodzilla and the remains of Ghidorah, this magnetic ability could be used as a last-ditch attempt to bring the mechanized demon down.
A common theme in the MonsterVerse is humanity's involvement with the Titans, but we've never quite had enough of an effect on the monsters in battle. They're basically these huge lumbering gods compared to us puny ants. Our weapons don't really have an effect and we go unnoticed. Humanity has learned a lot about Godzilla over the years, how he doesn't outright attack us unless provoked, and that he absorbs radiation for energy. If humanity wants to help Godzilla, Perhaps developing a way to give him radioactive boosts would raise our importance in the grand scale of the Titans. If he was in a situation like in Godzilla vs. Kong, where he was exhausted, low on energy, and getting his ass handed to him by Mechagodzilla, humanity could step in and administer a small boost of radiation to help pep him up. This would allow us to connect with the monsters like never before, and would showcase Godzilla's radioactive absorption ability like never before. We've seen what happens when you give him a big boost all at once, but how about a smaller boost to help him with his combat readiness? This would lead one step closer to harmony with the Titans, the very thing Emma Russell wanted.
Now this might sound silly, but the tail slide would be... Wait, hang on. Seen in Godzilla vs. Megalon, the king of the monsters used this ability to deal damage to the giant beetle Megalon. The tail slide is ridiculous on land, but you can't deny this is an iconic scene for Godzilla. Now this wouldn't be possible on the surface, but what about the Hollow Earth? With regions of mountainous terrain that have gravitational shifts, it would be more than possible that Godzilla could perform a tail slide or something similar to it. In the same vein as Kong sticking his axe down Godzilla's throat being a reference to the tree sequence from King Kong vs. Godzilla, they could homage but not outright copy the tail slide scene or any of them old, kinda more less believable scenes from the Showa era of Godzilla movies. In an epic sequence where Godzilla, Kong, and maybe even other monsters fight in zero gravity. This could be the film's epic, unique set piece, just like the monsters fighting on an aircraft carrier. Once again, pretty cheesy, but epic to see.
Finally, as for powers, we have flight. As seen in Godzilla vs. Hedorah, Godzilla uses his atomic breath to... I can't do it. The tail slide is pretty silly, but that's just too much. Throughout the years, Godzilla's had countless abilities, some bombastic and destructive, and some outright silly. There's plenty of room for Godzilla to evolve and change in the MonsterVerse to only become more powerful. I'd personally love to see the Spiral Ray return. It's the one thing I felt was missing from Godzilla vs. Kong in his battle against Mechagodzilla. I was really hoping he'd overpower Apex's mechanized Titan with the red Spiral Ray. But these are just some of the abilities I'd like to see return in Godzilla vs. Kong 2. Do you agree with our speculation? Which abilities would you like to see return in the upcoming MonsterVerse film? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, then leave a like because it helps us know what you want to see more of. Don't forget to subscribe and stomp the notification button to become a resident of DangerVille today. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.